Good morning and welcome to the Utica Curling Club for the finals of the 2016 Cobb Bonspiel. Former Utica Curling Club president and skip of Utica 1, Bill Sewell, leading the curlers out onto the ice. Good morning, Roger. Good morning, Doug.
Good morning.
Good morning, John.
The theme to this year's Cobb Bonspiel was a Kentucky Derby theme, so a little bit of change from our normal proceedings. National anthem today, instead of being sung, is going to be played by our own Mike DeMeo.
Players in these 6 finals this morning taking part in the traditional Taste of Sunday.
A 32-team field in this year's edition of the Cobb, Roger. And with our 6-sheet club, 6 matches being played on Sunday morning.
And everybody's now suitably charged up and ready to go.
So our feature game today, guys, is going to be Utica 1 and Manotick, and let's meet the teams. Start with Utica 1. There they are. There's their official Cobb Bonspiel photo we have up. And let's let Bill Sewell introduce his roster.
Hi, I'm Bill Sewell from Utica number 1. Playing tonight in Cobb semifinals. Michelle McEnroe is my third, Gary White is my second, and MJ Walsh is my lead.
There's Team Utica 1. Second, we just got the photo for Manatic. Just a second, we'll have that up. Some dead air. Why don't you talk?
Yeah.
There it is.
There we go.
There's Team Manatic, and working from left to right, they're going to introduce themselves.
My name is Wes Sukrab. I'm the skip for Team Manatic.
Hi, I'm Karen Bradley, and I'm the third.
Ron Knight, I play second for Team Sukrab.
And Tessie Okinen, I'm the lead.
There's your team.
John
competing
Prosperi,
today.
skip.
Hi, I'm
Right, so we have a great matchup this morning. Utica 1 is the winner of our Utica Curling Club Mixed Championships back a few weeks ago. Manatic comes down to us from the Ottawa area, just south of Ottawa.
16 teams from the Utica Curling Club play down for the right to be the 6 representatives here in the Cobb Bonspiel. It's one of the most competitive events in the club all year.
Absolutely. Both of these teams played very well to get to this point. We had 2 crackling semifinals last night. Both games came down to last rocks. So I would expect a good matchup today.
Manatic will be playing the Bluestones and has the hammer in the first end. Utica 1, even though you see red on your scoreboard, the tradition here at the Utica Curling Club is our feature sheet, sheet number 3, where we play all of our championships, has yellow stones engraved with the names of past presidents.
And we're about to get underway. Lead MJ Walsh about to throw her first stone to start off this championship final. 8 ends of play.
Skip Bill Sewell just waiting for Wes Sukarab to make his way down to the far end of the ice. It looks like we're going to mix it up right away here, Raj. The calls for a draw right into the top 4 foot.
So a conservative start, learn the ice this first end.
I'm not sure about ice speeds, but I know that we've been getting the 3.5 to 4 foot of curl that Bonspiel participants are looking for. You can see that by the ice that Bill Sewell was calling for to bring this rock back to the center line. This one looks like it's going to end up a little bit short of the house, not into the 4 foot as hoped, but on the center line, and now we'll see how play presumes.
It looks like Manatic is going to go right around.
Taking a shade more ice than Bill Sewell had called for his squad. Weight looks like it's well into the house. That one slides through. The break point looks to be right about at the hog line, Raj.
Yep, broke pretty hard.
That stone certainly had an opportunity to bury.
Yeah, the line looked great on that. Just a little bit strong.
With a lot of room by the guard from the Manatic stone, Bill Sewell moves his broom in just a couple inches for MJ's draw.
And again, they're going sideways inside the hog line, and this one looks like much better weight.
Yep, well buried top four. A fantastic position underneath the center line guard. Manitic will now try to arrange some rocks in the house that they can use later. A shade more ice as they're looking for the corner freeze. This one looked like it may have been delivered a little tight of the broom, Raj.
Yeah, they're holding it. Fantastic job of sweeping that by the guard.
That really was. So not quite the corner freeze they were looking for. That one over curls and peeks out on the other side, so well positioned to use later in the end, but not ideally where they were looking for it.
Looks like the ice is running just a little stiff in this first end. About 22 seconds I got on that draw.
A couple of weeks ago during our men's invitational, we saw quite a bit of the single sweeper practice being used. Have we seen any of that this weekend, Raj? Here in the
Not
in the
a lot. I would expect more teams to be doing it. It definitely works. I would expect in the next couple of years it'll be pretty widely adopted.
Here's second Gary White. Call was for a guard of shot stone, corner onto the blue that was just thrown. This one floats out a little wide and a little heavy. They're going to take this one deep through the house.
And now the guard's got to go away. Manitic with last stone in the first end. Needs to open up the rings so that they can use their blue and try to remove the Utica shot stone.
This is Manitic's second Rod Knight. Plenty of weight for this peel attempt. This one's curling quite a bit. Not going to roll off as they had hoped. Very nearly ran into their own stone in the house. Clears the guard, flops over to the side.
Leaves a corner guard they can use for sure.
Yep, opens up about 3/4 of the forefoot for that last draw.
Now Skip Bill Sewell is going to ask Gary White to remove the shot, second rock stone for Manitic. Probably won't even mind if he loses everything here.
Front end confirming the call.
The Manitic stone in the top 8 is a dangerous rock.
This rock's a little tight on the line. Sweepers on it immediately.
Hoping to send this over the top, and it's going to jam, and that was, you wanted to miss on the high side on that, not the low side. That leaves Manitic sitting 1 and gives him a chance to come around the corner.
A great opportunity for Manitic here to set up for a deuce in the first end.
This is the second draw on this sheet, so the ice might be a little slow in the first end here. Should pick up very quickly. Players will have to adjust. That one just slides into the top 12.
Not quite as much curl as we saw in some of the other draws that were coming in from a little wider angle. That leaves shot rock exposed, and Utica 1 will look to hit and flop underneath cover.
Third Michelle McEnroe for Utica with her first stone. Very nice bumper weight. Should get a little hook, and here it comes. Just got a little outside on that, I think. Had plenty of bend. Now Manitic will have the same opportunity to hit and roll underneath.
calling a little bit tighter ice, as we've seen that the takeouts aren't moving quite so much.
Karen Bradley with her first.
This one's floating out a little bit. Here's the break point, but still going to be on the outside. It's going to roll a little bit to the outside.
Both thirds on those takeouts were just a little bit on the outside of the broom. Only got back to nose. Michelle McEnroe with her second. Again, looking for this inside roll. Again, nice solid bumper weight.
Sweepers on and off. Rock looked like it was going to cut hard and then just kind of stopped. A great roll under cover.
Very short run back for Manitic, though. Nevertheless, a nice shot.
The way these rocks are lined up, Roger, I don't think there's any opportunity for the shooter to roll into the house if they're going to execute this run back.
Yeah, I think that's right. It'd be very difficult to roll a shooter onto the rings here. Struck this one out of hand and then came right up, and now they're back down again. And this rock is turning hard.
But sweepers hold the line, and looks like they do get a biter out of that roll.
They did roll it onto the rings, and they rolled it directly behind the corner guard.
Bill's given himself about a half a rock of ice for this takeout. Perhaps looking to play something a little softer than his normal hit weight.
Yeah, I think he's been throwing about bumper weight throughout the weekend unless he needs to move a lot of rocks. Yeah, this is a nice control weight. And it starts to take off in that spot.
Yeah, that one started moving early.
And that's going to roll into the open. It is, however, shot stone. So Manotic will have to chase. But they have the problem biter right behind the corner guard. That could set up their deuce. Best case scenario for Utica here would be to get a half shot, maybe hit and roll out, and then come around that corner guard. Otherwise, it looks like Manotic is setting up for two here.
Ideal result for Manotic here would be to get all three rocks in the line and force Utica to play some type of freeze down into the rings.
Yeah, right now I think they just want a nose hit here on the outside. Want to make it as difficult as possible for Utica to roll underneath. And there's your directional sweeping. And this was tight out of hand. Yeah, a little bit of a wobbly slide. And this gives Utica a chance to either split the house or come around the corners and lie 1 and 2. Get out of this end without giving up a deuce.
And our first hello from Petersham out there in the chat room. Good morning.
Sweepers are just cleaning. Looks like it's got enough weight.
Now it's starting to hook well.
That does not look it close the way it's tracking.
It's going to slide to the back four. It gets about a quarter buried, though.
Yeah, kind of in no man's land there for the Sweepers. They would have liked to have brought that more under cover, but then you're just bringing the rock deeper into the house. Once you're past the tee line, it's hard to judge whether it's going to go all the way through.
The one thing it does is it does have Utica sitting 1 and 2. Manatic will have to decide how they want to go after their deuce here. Or just provide a chance to score. It is possible for them to hit and roll off of that stone in the wings and flop on to the Utica shot stone behind tee line. I think that's what they're looking at.
Take it on the slippery side or the heavy side?
That seems like a more difficult shot, Roger, than just the draw to the stone behind the tee line to take the 1.
I was always taught if there's 2 ways to get to the same spot, the draw is the much easier option. So I don't think that stone on the 12-foot is going to be a factor in terms of scoring, unless he's trying to bring in this biter on the top 12. Taking more ice for this shot than on his previous.
Let's throw up a corner guard. If you're in, that's okay.
Looking for the double for 2.
No action from the Sweepers. There's contact, there's the roll, there's the touch.
Doesn't push it far enough. It's a really tough crosshouse double. Gets his 1.
A good aggressive call in the opening end.
Let's quickly run down the other games going on the ice. First over on sheet 1 is our E event. We have Navy. Navy is skipped by Steve Bellingham. Denise Bellingham is the vice. David Johansson is the second, and Ruth Buckland is the lead for Navy. They're playing Nutmeg out of Connecticut, Bridgeport, Connecticut. Ed Simia is the skip. Kelsey Shooter is throwing Vice Rocks. Matthew Bertonica is the second, and Elizabeth Brown is the lead. And we have a score update, guys. Navy out early with scoring 1 in the first end. On sheet 2 is our C event. These teams compete. The semifinals were yesterday afternoon. Utica 7, one of our feature games we had. Oh, I'm sorry. That's Mr. Palazzoli. We'll get to him.
Yeah.
So that's
Utica
the B
7
event.
Scotland.
So that's the B, Raj. So let's correct that. B event final going on. They played this morning in the semis. Utica 7 is Scott Lent is the skip. Marina Taverne is the vice. Tim Comboy is second, and Kerry Kassab is the lead. They're playing Petersham, who has some fans in the chat room, as we mentioned. Petersham is Paul Brialt, skipping Eliza Brialt, Jeff vice, Jeff Tallman second, and Tina Tallman is throwing lead rocks. And score update on that sheet, guys. What do we have?
2 points in the first end for Utica 7.
Okay, we've already covered our feature. We'll go through the other half of the games in just a sec. Let's get back to our feature game real quick.
Opening shot from Manatic was a draw just past tee line. Call for the corner guard came in a little bit heavy, side of the 4-foot. And now Manatic looks like is calling for the freeze on their own rock, or perhaps a little hit and flop.
Yeah, I think they're hitting the Utica rock. Looks like the ice has come up to full speed here in the second end. Getting about 24, 25 seconds for the draw to the back button.
All right, we'll just quickly complete all the rosters and the teams on sheet 4. Our C event, Utica 2. Utica 2, Dave Palazzoli is the skip, Sue Williams vice, Gary Williams the second, Kathy Palazzoli is the lead. For Utica 2, Ardsley Curling Club, skipped by Brian Ardsley, I'm sorry. Katie McKinley is the skip, Matt Gallegos is the vice, Sharon Gallegos is throwing second rocks, and James Scofis is the lead. And score update for that one, guys. What do you think? What do we have?
Ardsley scored 1 in the first.
Sheet 5, our D event, another Utica local squad. Utica 5, Mike Kessler. Skipping, Ann Stuhlman vice, Kevin Stevens second, Karen Rogowski is the lead. Rochester, this was our game. Both these teams played in our feature game last night at 8:30. Rochester's Andy Eaton, Dorothy Roach, Dave Kish, Bob Bond sharing duties at second, and Amanda Vickerson is the lead. Score update.
1-0 Utica after 1. They got a single in the first.
Okay, completing our games, we have Team Uno is Heidi Rausch skipping, or actually Dave Craig Nolan skipping, Heidi Rausch throwing fourth rocks, Dave Craig Nolan throwing third rocks. Barb Felice, another local UCC member, is the second. Kevin Carter is the lead. They're playing Philadelphia 1. Derek Tomlinson skipping that squad. Ann Drummy is the vice. Ian Alexander is the second. And Tracy Marcotte, I apologize, is the lead for Philly. And a score update there. Looks like a big number up.
Yeah, Team Uno rang up a big end. It looks like a 4 in the first end.
Okay, so you're all caught up. Back to our feature game.
And it looks like sweepers burned to stone here on our feature sheet, sheet number 3. Interesting to note on sheet number 4, it looks like Gary Williams is actually taking over skipping duties today, throwing second rocks, but then taking over the house, as we saw Dave Palazzoli out there sweeping earlier in the end.
Line's a bit tight. Line centered on the 4-foot line.
Now with the burned stone, Manotick has an opportunity to provide some cover for shot stone, which is just above the tee line, just off center line.
So some Utica 7 love in the chat room, watching from Buffalo, New York this morning. Welcome.
That guard attempt was a little heavy. Manotick sits 3 spread. Without hammer, no guards in play. Gary White second, looking to make a double here. The 2 stones grouped on the side of the 4-foot, close enough together that they can be crotch doubled. Looks like that'll work out just fine. 2 stones go away. So made up for the burned rock. Manotick will just continue to hit those yellow stones and try to sit spread 1 and 2. Not really in a good steal position with no guards in play. Trying to force Utica to 1 here in the second end.
This one taking its time about coming back to shot stone. Just barely going to make
just
contact.
Going to tickle it. So a break for Utica. that miss allows them to hit and roll and spread the house.
Fairly tight ice for the hit here to try and roll away.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to group your stones here. And they're sweeping hard to hold this to keep it from rolling closer to the other shot stone. And it will do so, and that'll leave a very easy double.
There's your color commentary from Wes Sukarab
Yeah.
over our shed mic. No need for us to explain any further. Plenty of weight here for the double, just need the rock to move.
And I think it's going to be fine. I don't think it can squeeze through the hole. And is it going to move enough? Just enough to get it off the rings.
Good, strong skip's broom there in the house.
So we could be heading for a blank this end.
This is a little soft for the takeout, Roger. This one's going to curl a ton.
Plenty of room, though. Sweepers like it.
And more than enough to clear the rock through the house. So that was probably hack to board weight.
Yeah, that was probably bumper down weight. Very controllable with the brooms.
Into Skip's rocks now here on our feature sheet.
Wes Sukarab with his first. Still looking just to trade hits here. Could be heading for a blank.
The only real worry on this shot is if it crosses all the way over the face, there's an opportunity with the yellow rock just outside the rings for a jam.
And again, this was set out just a little bit, but I think it's going to come back. Ideally, when you're trading hits like this, you'd like to roll to a different spot just to make the other team think about what kind of broom they're going to take. See if you can get a half shot out of them. Love to roll this stone somewhere closer to the edge of the rings. And they did roll that to a little bit different spot, so.
I thought I'd actually
Bringing the yellow rock over onto the right-hand side of the sheet as we look at it from behind the glass here, Raj, brings that jam a little more into play.
And we moved it to a different spot, so now the team is going to have to guess on the ice and the curl a little more. Just a little extra thing for them to think about. Should be a routine shot, though. Utica will probably be looking to blank this end if they can. West would like to roll the stone back toward the middle. But you do want to avoid that jam. And that's just perfect. So that makes the blank as difficult as possible with the stone in the middle of the rings. Skip Bill Sewell's going to throw the end turn to try to make the blank. The only thing you got to be careful about is jamming on your own yellow.
But by taking the hit in this direction, there's no opportunity to run the blue onto the jam.
That's right. Of course, the one thing when you're trying to blank an end is make sure you do remove the opponent's stone. Don't be too cute. Half a rock should do. Need the sweepers to hold this if they can. It's curling up. They're going to wind up getting their single. It's never a gimme blank when the rock's in the middle of the rings.
Sheet 2 has also completed their second end. And Petersham hangs a 3 on the board in the second end, so the score is now 3-2 in favor of Petersham versus Utica 7.
In our championship game, we're all tied up at 1 after 2 ends of play. Manatic will have the last rock advantage in this end.
Scoring update from Sheet 5, a steal of 1 for Utica 2, and they now have a 2-0 lead over Rochester 1. Opening stone of our third end is just slips into the house, about halfway into the 12-foot.
Over curl just a hair. Lead MJ Walsh is throwing the 7-8 Yellowstones, which are cutter rocks on this sheet. They will curl about an extra foot. You can see that guard attempt over curled past the center line. Manatic rolls out on their takeout attempt, trying to roll to the wings for a shot. Didn't quite catch enough of the rock. Skip Bill Sewell moves the broom out into the middle of the 12-foot now.
This one looks like we're in the house again, Roger.
And that stone curled a full 5 feet. Manatic again, simply going to remove the stones from play, try to roll to the wings.
Yeah, what a nice shot, Dave. That's a beauty. I think he got one. Just one. Nice shot. That was a beautiful.
Hit and stick, top of the button. Utica will look to remove.
Just didn't finish quite enough, eh?
There's the break back to the center line. Good hit, small flop, still in the 4-foot. But now Manatic will have an opportunity to try and take play away from the center line. Ron Knight with his first stone of our third end.
And he's able to roll that one to the edge of the 8-foot.
This one needs to do some curling if the shooter's going to stay in the house. There's the hit. There's the roll.
Yeah, Gary just took a little bit of an outside slide on that.
Yeah, a little bit of a hook.
A little extra drift. Pulled him outside just a hair. So Manatic will start over by throwing one into the wings.
And exploring the other side of the sheet.
Content to not play this end aggressively. Manatic is bringing play into the house. The other option would be to throw a corner guard here. They may get one anyway.
This is the first outturn we've seen along this line, Roger.
And they just swept that into the 12-foot. Manatic staying very conservative here. He would be willing to pick up a cheap deuce if there's a miss. Otherwise, I think they're content to play for a blank this end.
Perhaps thinking about taking control of the even ends this early.
Yeah, it's hard to maintain it though.
Michelle McEnroe's rock will make good contact, plenty to remove the shot stone, rolling across the house. We'll see what West can do with this rock. Hard sweep through the back of the 12, halfway out, but still a biter in the back.
If that gives, now he can take some more aggression. He can play a freeze attempt with that rock behind tee line. The yellow Utica stone, not a tremendous scoring threat. Now I can play a corner freeze to try to set up a deuce.
With the exception of opening draws, it's really been a hitter's game so far, so Karen Bradley being asked to change it up a little bit, throw the tee line draw.
It's also the first time they've seen the curl out here, way out to the side.
Line was nice out of hand, but not as much finish off of this stone as we've seen rocks coming from the outside back to the center line.
Yeah, and it's just that much more weight. just through the house weight. It just didn't move.
Yep, just through back line. Bill Sewell taking that one all the way out of play. An advantage now goes back to the Utica squad.
And they can now sit 1 and 2 and play for the force. Looking to drop this one on top 8, top 4, somewhere near the center line. Both teams successfully forced their opposition into taking singles in the first 2 ends. Trying to do the same here in this 3rd end. Third, Michelle McEnroe was a little wide on this shot. Got a little bit into the weeds. Need to get this stone onto the rings.
That's a good hard scrub to bring it to
Gary White and
top
MJ
8.
really swept that hard to get it back, and then that rock curled a ton. Does the job, though. Manatic can't leave that rock in the top 12. That's an improvable rock, so it'll have to go. Looking for a hit and a flop in front of the Utica stone in the back 12.
Maybe just a little push at the end of that release as
it sailed.
Yeah, Wes Sukarab had called the sweepers on immediately out of hand and then had them off just as quickly.
Now skip Bill Sewell will try to replace the stone that was just removed.
Giving himself a little less ice than he had called for previous draws on this line. He had the broom out about another 6 inches for Michelle McEnroe's draw.
Yep.
Ideal spot here, Roger. Do we want to bring this one right into the 4-foot, or would we rather leave it higher up in the 8-foot? The deeper the rock goes, the more opportunity that Manatic has to roll over and take advantage of the Utica stone at the back right. 12.
I think that's right. I think you know, top 8, no more than just touching top 4 would be just right.
Michelle jumps out to give it a hand.
I don't think it needs much help. This is going to go beyond tee, and that leaves a double. That leaves a pretty easy double or just a hit and flop. That stone, you either wanted to leave, you know, in the 8-foot, or you got to go all the way back 8 even to make the flop impossible. So with a good throw here,
two's back in play.
Yeah, you can put a deuce back in play with a nice flop here.
Scoring update from sheet 1. Navy 1 with the red stones. Steals 2 in the second end. Now has a 3-0 lead. On sheet number 4, Utica 2 forced to take a single point in the second end, and that game is now tied at 1. And on sheet number 6, Team Uno with a steal of 1 after taking 4 in the first end, and they now have a 5-0 lead over Philadelphia.
Might as well bring it in now. It's doing nothing out there.
Wes Sukarab with his first, looking for a hit and flop.
One sweeper working hard. Ron Knight trying to hold this on the right line so they can get the roll. There's the hit. It's got plenty of weight, but just comes up to nose and hit and stick. A nose hit now from Utica brings the rock ahead of the tee line.
And as long as that rock is removed, of course, there's no chance for a deuce by Manatic, so that should force Would be possible to play a cross-house double and blank, but that seems a little bit risky.
Well, we saw West take that risk in the first inning.
He did. That was a risk for 2. I think you definitely want to get your single here. Need to hold the shooter to get the force on this.
Yeah, Bill certainly thinks it needs sweeping.
And that's going to roll away, and that's going to make the blank possible. Oh, but he just hung on. Maybe that's going to be a measure.
Oh, that's hard to tell.
I think from our camera angle.
Our camera is forward of the sheet, so we can just see a little bit of white there at the back, but that might be fooling us. I think that rock's on.
I think it may be on, and they're going to give it a hard look. If that's on, then the force is on. There's certainly no double.
Well, from Wes's body language, I'd say that rock is on, and now he's just trying to decide where he wants to throw his draw.
Yeah, and it looks like he thinks it's on, so they're just going to take their single. The front end is asking if they want to draw to the Utica shot stone on the side, but the rings are a lot bigger in the middle. Front to back, I think you just draw the pin here. Got 12 feet to play with. No, now they're going to use the Utica stone for backing.
Line's not bad. Line's not bad. Here it comes. Is that coming right in?
I think I agree more with your first line of thinking, Raj. Let's, if you got 12-footer ring, let's use it all.
It's a little hot, eh?
And they go back. Now they're going to draw the pin again. I think this is the right call.
Well, but this is not enough ice to get to the pin because we've seen 4 to 5 feet of curl on this line. So
he'll still be okay if he lands on the 4 foot on the far side. So. The thing I like to do with a shot like this is pick a track I've been down where I know the weight and I know the curl.
Final rock of end number 3. Manatic skip West Sukarab throwing against 2 Utica stones. Sweepers on in the beginning and now off as this rock glides into the house.
This
Top
one's
12,
this one's cooking.
8 foot, 4 foot, T-line, back 4, back 8. Can Michelle push it through? That one just hangs on.
Just hangs on for the single.
It's a game of forces so far, Roger, here on our championship sheet. Meanwhile, on sheet number 2, Utica number 7 hangs 2 more. Now at a 5-3 lead against Petersham. Manatic skip West Sukarab asks lead Tessie Jokinen to bring this rock into the house. Looking to start out top 4. Line's good out of hand. Just a little bit of clean from the sweepers. Now they're going to have to go to bring this one top 4. Coming back to center line nicely, but not quite the weight they're looking for. This one's going to settle in mid-12, top 8. And just bites the 4 foot.
And this will set off another cascade of hits. Neither team here really willing to take any risk with the rock on the 4 foot in a close game.
Another scoring update from sheet number 1, Roger. It's all Navy as they take another steal in the third end and now have a 4-0 lead over our team from Nutmeg. And on sheet number 5, Rochester gets on the board against Utica 5. They're forced to one in the third end. Utica 5 leads that match 2-1. The hit spills, we've got an open house, and once again, Wes is going to look to bring play into the 4-foot. Taking a little more ice, looking to bring this rock on the other side of center line. Good line out of hand. More activity from the sweepers this time. They jump right on this stone. This one's really light. They're going to really have to work to get this across the hog line. West goes out to give him a hand. Can they get it across? This one looks like it's just going to make it across. A furious scrub back to the center line. A center line guard, but a good 6 to 8 feet outside the house. MJ Walsh being asked to bring this one around the center line guard. About 1.5 inches by the guard. Now back to center line. Now peeking out the other side. Now back 4. Out into the open and back 8. Manitic not willing to give Bill Sewell and his squad any opportunity to make 2. He's going to ask for this stone to be removed. Calls the sweepers right off as he looks for line to improve. This one's going to come back to make contact, but I don't think the shooter's going to stick around.
That's a lot of weight.
Just down weight, take it, hit and roll. Just like hack weight.
So Gary White will have a chance to get around this high center guard. Looking to go top 8.
Touch more ice than we saw on the shot being called for MJ. Sweepers with a little clean.
Looks like plenty of weight.
Cutting hard towards the guard.
And that one coasts into the top 8 and has almost peeked a little bit out the backside. The weight and line looked pretty good on that from the shooter's perspective. I think maybe they needed to take just a shade more ice.
Manitic's going to clear the top guard here, Raj.
Playing it very conservative. Probably the right call. They roll for a corner, something they can use later. And Utica splitting the house here.
Well, they do have the hammer. Manitic hasn't hung their single point from the third end.
I think they're going to go around the wide corner that was just left by Manitic.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised there that Manitic would have taken a little more ice on that first shot. You know, if you're willing to lose the high guard, why not go ahead and make the play on shot stone, and then if you remove the guard, clear it all off from the top. It's not the end of the world.
This one's going to drop a little deep. Is that going to hang on? And it does not. Gary White a little heavy on that come-around attempt.
Karen Bradley stepping into the hack. She'll be asked to remove shot stone. Meanwhile, over on sheet 6, Philadelphia raising a comeback against Team Uno. They hang 3 in the third end and now have a 3-5 deficit. There's the hit, no jam in the back. Shooter rolls off to the side. One Manitic stone on the rings, and Utica's going to look to remove.
And once again, we get into the hit fest.
Sweepers working really hard on this. They need to really pound this one in order to keep the shooter on the rings.
And they're going to get the long roll behind the corner. Almost. They do manage to roll in front of their stone that's hanging onto the back line, however, so not a bad spot. Manitic will have to chase here. They'll have to take this stone away. Does force them into the inside-out route, though. So a little bit of guess on the ice.
Easy to turn a shot like this in, Raj. And this rock starts moving directly out of hand. Sweeper's on it really hard. This is going to make good contact. Can they keep it in play?
They can, and they avoided the jam in the back. That was really what they were worried about. But now third, Michelle McEnroe can attempt another hit and flop behind that wide corner guard left by the Manitic Peel.
Bill waited a long time to bring the Sweepers down on that. Maybe could have gone just a little bit sooner, as he doesn't get all the roll he was looking for.
Now Manitic will be able to come at this outside in, which is a little bit easier to throw.
Reminding Karen about the stone at the back of the rings. Still needs to avoid the jam. But for where he was looking, he wanted the shooter to roll. If he hits us in the right spot, jam won't be in play.
That was rather boring. Check over here. Here's okay.
Now Wes is looking to roll back toward the center of the rings.
A lot of chatter down the hack. My knees could not stay down that long. Ron Knight doing a really great job of holding this rock. And clears that catcher off the back. That's great execution right there.
Well, at this point, Utica needs a miss to set up a deuce. That rock right on the tee line, 4 foot. To keep the blank alive here, the stone will be removed. A roll to the outer 12 foot would be ideal. Make it as difficult as possible.
Just a little more weight than we've seen from some of Bill's other takeouts. But still curls quite a bit.
Yeah, could have held that out. They really didn't want to be there on the middle of the 4 foot. I think you wanted to roll that to the outside of the rings, make the takeout a little more difficult. And in the event of a nose hit, make the blank a little bit easier.
We have got 14 of the rocks thrown on sheet 2 in play right now as we get into, 13 rocks as we get into the skip stones here. It's just incredible.
There's 5 rocks touching the 4 foot and a pile of guards.
Meanwhile, on our feature sheet, Wes Sukarab looking to hit and stick. Force the Utica team into the long hit and roll for the blank. Karen keeps yelling no, but Tessie keeps sweeping. Maybe she needs to take a tip from the Rochester team last night. Please stop sweeping.
That was very funny. Dorothy Roach was jumping up and down, yelling, "Stop, ... sweeping." All right, so another blank attempt here. Every team needs a please stop sweeping call. Right off usually works. All right, a blank attempt here by Billy Sewell. Last stone here in the 4th end.
Got a little break in the action over on sheet 5 is at the conclusion of their 4th end. They took a TV timeout, came up to make use of the bar. Now taking the ice again. Will he make the contact? Just touches.
And we'll score that a 4 out of 4, even though it was a moment of panic. Caught just enough of the rock. Secures the blank. And end 4 retains the hammer in the 5th end.
Call for a measure on sheet number 2. Definitely a score of 2 for Petersham, looking to determine who makes the 3rd point.
Whatever you do, don't get Mike Kessler to do the measuring. Right.
He's not used to measuring. Clearly. Why did the same thing that
And one more time, Manitic looking for a stone. Top 4, center line. So far, both teams really content to play the hitting game. Good line, a little soft. That one just sneaks into the mid-12.
Well, with a 1-point lead, there's really no reason for Manotick to force the action here. They're going to leave Utica with the problem of how to generate their deuce.
Our measure on sheet 2 is complete, and it's a score of 2 for Petersham. That game's all tied up at 5 after 4 ends.
And lead MJ Walsh threw that one just a little tight, right out of hand.
On sheet number 5, Hammer makes 2, Utica 5 now has a score of 4-1 over the Rochester team. Sheets 1 and 6 still playing their 4th ends. So here's Tessie Jokinen's attempt at a draw under cover. This one's cutting hard, looking more like a raise opportunity if it has enough weight.
And that's just going to leave a double opportunity for MJ Walsh.
Just on the broom side of nose. We just recently concluded the college Bonspiel here in Utica, Roger, and a fantastic event. You didn't get snowed out this year.
We did not. We were very pleased with that. We got all 16 teams here, safe and sound, and back.
How many of our local teams are heading on to the national championship?
So all 3 of our local teams, Colgate, Hamilton College, and SUNY Poly, all qualified for the nationals and have accepted their bids. And they're looking forward to competing in Chaska, Minnesota. Not only did we qualify 3 teams out of our club, but Region 2 of the college curling, the USDA college curling region, qualified, I think, 6 teams.
How many teams are they taking to the event?
16 altogether.
6 teams, that's fantastic.
So 6 teams out of Region 2, which is New York and Pennsylvania, and the GNCC qualified 10.
Wow.
Of the 16. So college curling is really hot here in the East.
And that bodes well for the future of the sport here in the GNCC.
Absolutely. And, you know, our college curlers have gone all over the GNCC, Potomac, Chesapeake. We've got a paid instructor in Brooklyn, so I'm jealous they're actually getting paid to instruct.
I'll buy you a beer, Roger.
Yeah. It is awesome to see that they go off and are helping out other curling clubs. One of our members helped raise money for the new facility down at Triangle. So we've converted them. They're now choosing their job opportunities by whether or not there's a curling club nearby.
Amazing.
It's a great sport. Second, Gary White.
Another double opportunity, this time from the other side of the sheet.
Again, just need to hit this on a little bit on the high side, then they should both spill.
Just a touch more weight to clear that stone all the way through. Bill Sewell doesn't even get an opportunity to put his broom on the ice as it stays above the tee line.
So Manotick is shot.
But 2 improvable Utica stones on the rings. West taking a look to see if the double's there. I think the double jams. So instead he's going to call the hit and the flop back towards center. Why flop back towards center here, Raj? Why not take advantage and try and split your rocks a little wider on the rings?
Well, he's going to have a hard time to flop the other way and stay shot. But I think he did just that. It's close.
I think Utica's second shot there.
Could be. Regardless, I think they're going to go after shot rock.
Sweepers on and off. They're going to make good contact. Can they control the roll? Here's the hit. Here's the roll. Can they get it under cover? Now it's under cover. Now it's out in the open.
Center line back four. That's going to be wide open.
Now the decision for Wes is roll under your own or roll under the opposition stone.
Well, I think he certainly wants to roll somewhere. You don't want to make a nose hit here. If you roll under your own, at least you make them run your stone.
He's looking to roll under yellow cover here. A little bit of talk here that if they did come out tight and they cleared off the yellow stone at the top 12, that would be an okay result. Once again, really strong directional sweeping here from Ron Knight. This one's perilously close to the guard.
And it rubs it and actually does not remove either stone from play. That leaves Utica clearly sitting two. One rock behind tee line though. Rock on the back four is not ideal.
So if you're Bill Sewell, do you put this rock top four in line with shot stone? Do you hit the blue that's just biting the rings and flop in front? Harder to control the hit than it would be to control the draw.
Right, I think your best option here is either to spread the house and leave that stone alone or come in and make a Christmas tree with the blue guard on the top four. Half cover the stone in the back so that the freeze opportunity is not there. And Manatic would not be able to hit and keep their stone on the rings.
Bill likes using his rock that's top 12 as a corner guard. He wants to come around behind it. That's a strategy we've seen Bill play quite often.
It's a good place to hide a rock, and just ignore that one on the back four.
Because at this point in time, now if you turn that rock into the back four into a trading stone, you're certainly going to hold Manatic to one. Deep enough so there's no double, but that rock did not hide. Now gives Manatic an opportunity to roll in front of it and try and manufacture two for themselves.
Well, Manatic doesn't have the last rock this end, so they're looking to limit the damage here.
You're absolutely right. I had forgotten about the blank.
So Utica sweeping that stone to the back eight because it wasn't buried. They didn't want Manatic to be able to use that stone. Manatic now looking for hit and flop somewhere to hide. And this one is turning very hard.
More scoring updates as we move across the house on sheet number one. Nutmeg gets on the board in the fourth end, scoring one. They're now behind against Navy with a score of 4-1. We told you before, all tied up at 5 on sheet number two. Ardsley steals one in the fourth end to jump out to a 4-1 lead over Utica 2. Utica 5 remains in control on sheet number 5 with a 4-1 lead over Rochester, and on sheet number 6, Philadelphia comes back with a steal after taking 3 in the third end, a steal of 1 in the fourth, and they now trail by 1. against Team Uno.
Michelle McEnroe with a wide come-around takeout. Hits and rolls out, but does leave Utica sitting 2.
That one just spins back onto the rings, but I
Wow.
don't think enough to outcount the blue stone at the top of the house.
Nevertheless, Utica is set up for a deuce. Manatek looking at the possible slash double, but they will lose their shooter if they attempt that.
Not sure I fully understood what Wes is looking to do here, Roger.
Well, the one choice would be to run the slash double, try to remove the 2 yellow stones at once.
Freeze onto shot rock takes all 3 rocks out of play.
Although it's a bit dangerous, it puts 3 into play if you don't make it perfectly. Could be looking for the hit and long roll behind his stone in the top 12. From the looks of the ice, that might be the call. Didn't really see where they wanted to go.
Yeah, this broom is not only on the rock, it's a good third of the way in. So expect some weight here.
The trouble with a slash double is you lose your shooter.
West calls him on. Changing the play from the slash to the hit and the roll.
Rolls for shot, top 8. I think just a nose hit here would be just fine.
Or just on the broom side.
So a fairly serious deuce opportunity developing here. I think this is the first deuce opportunity we've seen this late in an end so far this game.
If they could have gotten just a little more twist off of Michelle McEnroe's second rock, 3 would have been in play.
Absolutely. This has got to come back a long way.
It'll make contact, but it's going to roll off to the side.
And out of play, and
that changes the complexion entirely. Now you're looking from taking 2 to being thrown for the force.
just a little up weight on that shot and maybe a little bit on the outside. Didn't come back enough to hang around.
Wes Sukarab taking another look at the Yellowstone back 12 on the opposite side of the house just to make sure that his rock at the top is indeed second stone. Critical for him to stay on the rings here. Meanwhile, on sheet number 5, Utica 5 puts another deuce on the board and now enjoys a 6-1 lead over Rochester.
And Philadelphia 1 has closed the gap on Team Uno, now trailing only by 1 after 4 innings of play.
West calls the sweepers on right out of hand. Ron Knight working this stone furiously, trying to hold it.
Yeah,
this one's going to make contact, but no doubt is going to roll off the rings.
Well, it depends on whether or not this stone in the back is on the rings. If that's on the rings, there is a delicate hit and roll into the rings for your deuce. Have to be careful, though, because Utica will have to roll toward the center of the rings to get their shooter on if they make the hit and roll. And to do that, they'll have to avoid the jam on their yellow stone at the back. And the real question here is whether or not that stone in the back is on the rings. Right now, they're trying to decide whose shot. Again, our camera angle is not ideal. It makes the stone on the front of the rings look a little better and the one in the back a little worse. So from our vantage point with the over-the-house camera, which is in front of the house, it looks like blue is clearly better.
And with all the attention that Bill's giving that shot, that rocket certainly confirms our guess up here.
But if they're going after that stone, I think they're fairly confident that the stone at the back of the house is on the rings. So the question is how to remove it from play and spin your shooter on without jamming on your shot stone in the back.
Just a hair less.
I think if they hit a half a rock, they'll be okay. They can't throw too much weight, though. And I think they've given up on that shot. I think it's too difficult. Just going to draw for one here.
We found the hill.
Roger and I were just discussing the physics of the roll after the hit, trying to determine what was the ideal way to come at this if you did want to try to play the hit and roll onto the rings.
Yeah, go, go, go. Come on! Come on!
Can they get this on the rings? Came up short.
Top four's okay, not back four.
Third's taking another look and it gets kicked away, so decision has been made.
Steal of one.
Three or a five is good. Oh, we're okay. I think it could be a five. It's not going to be a five, did you say? Yeah, I believe it to be. Oh, get out of the way, guys.
Just a reminder, just an 8-end game today for all the games going on in the ice.
So maybe now we'll see the corner guard out of Bill Sewell as Manitic once again brings play right into the forefoot. Scoring update from sheet number 1, where Navy has hung another point on the board. Forced to a single point in the fifth end, they now enjoy a 5-1 lead over Nutmeg. On sheet number 2, Utica 7 also forced to a single point. They have a 1-point lead now, 6-5 over Petersham. Still waiting for our fifth end to complete on sheet number 6 and sheet number 4. was looking at the scoreboards here, Roger, so I didn't see what Bill's call was. It looks like he certainly looked like he was calling for the draw. Is he trying to get underneath?
Yeah, trying
the
to
blue
come
stone?
around the blue stone, using it as a corner guard. And the weight was perfect,
Yeah,
but it
great
just
T-line weight.
didn't curl enough.
It's gonna come in. It's gonna be way out, but that's okay. All right, control.
Manitic will run that stone.
Sweet, sweet. Even if it's heavy. Okay. Thinking maybe. I gotta go anyway. Gotta go anyway.
And that was thrown tight. That may wreck on the corner guard. Good sweeping to get that by.
The hit's made, but the shooter rolls harmlessly out. Let's see if Bill likes that draw under again, and he does.
I don't like it.
Tightens up the ice just a little.
This one. All right. It's heavy.
Weight looks nice.
Yes.
Sweepers are on it hard. Now a little clean and now heavier again. That one took a big swing right at the end. Just off the ring, so still in the free guard zone. But free guard rule is off as second Ron Knight steps into the hack, and he'll be asked to clear.
Sweet.
You could let this just cross over the face, Raj, and take all three stones out of play.
You could. That would probably be the best outcome. This is just going to be a straight peel. You know, one option here is just to freeze to the stone on the top 12. Instead of trying to get behind it.
Once again, draws the call. See if Bill changes the ice up at all. A little tighter, maybe an inch and a half.
Well, the line was really good on the last attempt. It was just a little bit on the light side. This one's a little tight to the broom.
Yeah, this never got out to the broom.
If it's light, they could just freeze this up, and that would be a good result.
Just short of the freeze by about 8 to 10 inches.
Well, that's an excellent spot. That can be used. That'll force Manitic to split the rings to sit 1 and 2. That yellow rock now has control over the rock in the top 12.
This one will make the paint, just a question of where it's going to settle.
And Bill Sewell trying to take advantage of those staggered guards on the left-hand side of the sheet as we look at our camera.
I think I'd be tempted to play the hit and roll to the same spot here, Roger.
Well, the draw is probably the easiest way to get there if you want to get behind those two guards. The rock on the open side is not going anywhere. If they can get, mispicked.
But still can be swept down to the rings as it now reverses handle. But all the weights come off.
You're getting late in the game here, might have to watch out for flat spots up the middle.
Choices here, Raj? Try and tick off the Yellowstone that's just out of the house, or draw behind?
I've almost got to think you want to start clearing some guards if you can. Even though you're sitting 1 and 2. He's looking at throwing a center guard. I've got to think a guard works to Utica's advantage here. That one slips into the top 12.
Yep, calls for the hit and roll, and
hit roll / double.
Yeah, just Bill's acknowledging that there is the opportunity for that. And Michelle certainly has the ability to throw a stone that'll move 3.
Hurry! Hurry hard! She was a real friend. Hurry hard!
Just missed moving the stone on the 8-foot. Rolls in for third shot. It actually messes up a little run back they had. Short run back on their yellow off the blue to roll under cover. Now with that yellow stone rolling underneath. Wes is going to run this for Utica to get rid of the yellow stone in the back.
Calls him right down out of hand and now brings him off. Shooter's going to roll off. Hit and clear is made.
Once again, trying to get around the staggered corners. This time on the other side of the sheet.
I think the danger to this shot is it leaves an opportunity for a run back and Manitic to lie 3.
Yeah, the blue stone is accessible on the outside of the corner guard. And that just ticks off their own stone.
4 rocks on the rings now. Manitic lying shot in second. Utica third and fourth stones.
However, all of the Utica stones are usable. Both of the yellow stones in the rings can be used to run off blue rocks.
Just dead there. I didn't hit nose. I just thought I didn't stand off.
It's really not all peaches and cream for Manitic. They really can't do anything with the yellow Utica stones. Wes is looking at improving his stone on the 8-foot.
I like that raise. If you bring it to just above T line, there's no draw path to get to it. You can't use the yellow stone that's just inside the 4-foot line to run it off. You'd be forced into trying to play some type of double off of blue-blue.
Yeah, the other option they have is Utica can hit their yellow that's corner frozen on the top 12 and try to spill that in underneath for shot. But if Wes can raise his blue stone into the 4-foot, that makes that shot very difficult to make for shot rock.
No clocks on these games, so we don't need to call for a timeout and have the coach come down. But it does give us an opportunity to update some other scores on sheet number 5. They're now into their 7th end. As Rochester takes a single point in the 6th end, they now trail 6-2 after 6.
They scored 2.
Nutmeg takes 2 points in their 6th end. Starting to make a game of it as they now trail 5-3 after 6. Play continues in the 6th end on sheet number 2, on sheet number 4, and sheet number 6. So the decision here, Roger, is draw around from the wing.
They're either drawing around. I think they might be trying to unstick their blue stone from the yellow freeze. I think they're just looking maybe to do a little bit of a tap. I think that's what Wes was indicating. Just looking to tap the yellow stone a little bit and unstick that. And have the shooter roll in front of the raised stone. It certainly wasn't wide.
No, and the risk to that shot is you unfreeze it and you bring it directly into the open where the takeout line is.
And this just took off. Lost the handle and took off. And this is going to come through the hole to the back 8.
So now lying 3. Try and follow that line down. That's what Bill's going to do.
That wasn't the way they drew it up. It kind of lost the handle and just took off.
First skips rock of the 6th end for Bill Sewell as he attempts a draw against 3 Manitic stones.
Looking to tuck one in through the port, maybe even freeze on the back blue. going for line. They think they're by. And it looks like that's on the back.
That one flattened out a little bit, Rod.
Yep.
It looked like it was coming, and then just the curl just seemed to come off of it.
Well, the Manatic skip, when he threw his stone, he lost the handle, so he got a little extra curl there. Bill's stone had probably back 12 weight. So maybe it ran just a hair straighter.
And it looks like Manatic remains shot rock here, not by much, just barely.
Utica sitting second in the back 8.
How many more ends do I have to play?
Quick sheet 5 update. Yep. Rochester scored 1 with a hammer in N6. Utica 5 still in control of that game, up 4 with 2 to play.
I think the ideal spot for Manatic here, Roger, has got to be right on the center line, just inside the 8-foot. Why bring it any deeper? I mean, I know that Wes here is indicating that he'd like to draw under cover, but if you can drop that rock just inside the 8-foot for even second rock, even if you're not second rock here, just to prevent any kind of hit. I'm really surprised that he's leaving that path open for Bill Sewell.
And there might be enough curl there for him to move the Manatic stone by maybe just a hair. Looks like Wes is going to improve his rock on the just on the outside of the corner guard. This is the one he looked at earlier.
The team's talking about it down at the far end of the ice.
You're by, you're well by. All kinds of roads.
Next year we get mics for the skips and thirds, Doug. Donations can be made to the Utica Curling Club. We do have a PayPal account, folks.
Well, the trick here is Wes is looking to be 1 and 2 since he's first and third at the moment.
Although Gary Williams did said he would give us the wireless equipment. So,
oh, no kidding.
Donate.
If you get the mics, though, you're going to have to get the bleep button. Especially on men's league night. Many of us would have to clean up our act.
Here now's the raise attempt. This one looks tight, out of hand. Really hard sweeping by Ron Knight. He's going to have to scrub furiously now looking to come all the way across the center line guard. Bring that out into the center line. That one rolls across, and there's that path wide open for Bill to perhaps make 2 out of what looked like a very treacherous end until just a couple of moments ago. That does tighten up the hole a little bit, though, Roger.
Yeah, but it opens up a straight raise.
That's true.
Right onto the back blue. And you can almost not miss this if you come somewhere near the nose. I mean, you'll get your 1 no matter what. Bill can drive this yellow rock onto the blue stone. That's a deuce. I think that's the easiest option. Down on the nose will do it.
Sheet 2, we have some Utica 7 fans in the chat room. Just want to make sure, keep you up to date. Scott Lentz team stole 1 in N6 to take a 2-point lead. Sheet 4 looks one-sided, guys.
That Sheet 2 game is the one that's furthest along so far.
And Ardsley has pulled away in that game. Taking a deuce and then 2 steals. Looks like we're throwing maybe back ring weight. Looking for a nose raise on the Yellowstone in the top 12.
This looks like quite a bit of ice to me, to Roger.
Now they're not wide.
This is the last rock.
That's more weight than I was expecting. I think maybe is he trying to come through?
No, there's the hit. There's the contact. Can we get the rub off there?
You will get the rub for 1 and maybe 2. Made it the hard way. That worked. Basically played an angle run back and spill for 2. That's our first deuce of the game, folks, and that was not the easy way to do it.
Boy, I'm not so sure, Roger. Are you sure that one rolled in deep enough?
Looked like it.
Because I'm just trying to read Michelle McEnroe's body language. I saw her point at the one Utica stone just off of the forefoot, but didn't really see an indication or a hand signal for 2 there. We'll see what happens when she gets to the far end.
All right, so I'm going to back that out.
6th end complete on sheet number 1.
But still 3-1 after through 5 on sheet 3 until we get official word. There goes Michelle to the board. And see what she puts up. It is a 2. So.
Yeah, that shooter rolled to the full 8 foot, so it certainly outcounted the ones in the back, and they ran the one off that was half in the 8.
Okay, so game on. 2 ends to go.
So we're back where we started with Manitic starting out with hammer with only 2 ends to play now instead of 8. Utica gets their center guard up. Manitic comes around immediately, but this one comes out the back side to the back 4. This is wide open now for an out turn hit. Lead MJ Walsh. This was just a hair tight. I think they're going to get by the guard. Will they have enough of the rock? And they will catch a good piece. They held that actually very well. Rock removed.
Shooter just sticks around, back 12, takes a little spin back into the rings.
And sheet 5 looks like it's a final. Utica 5 victorious over Rochester.
Our D event, our first final today. Congrats to Utica 5, Mike Kessler, Ann Stuhlman, Kevin Stevens, and Karen Rogowski. Your D event, your bronze medalists.
Your bronze medalists.
There's a picture of Utica 5 as they come into the warm room. Some applause.
Manitic's come around, attempt comes up just a little short.
And some applause for Rochester as well. Our runners-up in the bronze game. So if it was sailing, we have 4th and 5th as a standard prize. It's a green ribbon and a white ribbon.
Ah.
In sailing's equivalent of a Bonspiel. Always give out a 4th and 5th place prize. That would be a regatta.
Yes. Second Gary White for Utica. Playing a come around. Staggered guards in play. Love to get this buried top four. Sweepers don't want to touch it. This is very strong.
Sorry, guys. Yes.
Rice has good speed today. He's clocking 25 seconds to T-line. Good sweepers ice. Manatic tries the same come around. This weight looks a little better. Sweepers haven't touched it yet, though.
That buried nicely.
And that's going to stop top four with no assistance. That rock is just barely buried. I think back rings weight, this can be easily moved.
And shooters stay half under cover.
This is not wide. A little heavier than they were expecting, so that actually helped them out because it ran straight. This is going to get shot rock. Avoids the jam and rolls for two. Got a little fortunate there. If you're going to be narrow, be heavy, right? That ran enough to get by the guard.
Yeah, sweepers really didn't have to give that much effort to keep it by the guard. Big weight on this takeout as they're looking to try to take this roll all the way across the house, get under cover. And right in front of shot stone. What an excellent result.
Had a question in the chat room about the house and sheet 2. We'll try to cut over there for the skip rocks as we come down the stretch here.
Bill Sewell's going to ignore those rocks in the back 12. He's going to ask Michelle McEnroe to come around these two center guards again.
Philadelphia making a game out of it against Team Uno. Scoring one in the fifth end. Now they're only down by 2. 7-5 as they play their seventh end.
Stone has a long way to curl. It's a little heavy. Now it's starting to bury. Yeah, not as heavy as I thought.
Yeah, nice weight, top 4 weight. Just never really got under cover. It's 3/4 in the open.
There is a jam, though. Have to be a little careful with his takeout.
So Wes giving the indication there that if they run off the yellow guard at the top of just over the hog line, that's not the end of the world.
Airtight
want to hit as much of this as you can.
This one riding the center line string down, holding nicely.
And this will get a little bit of an underneath roll. Very nice shot. That stone is still gettable, though. Gary White removed the stone in almost the same spot just a few stones ago. Again, back ring weight.
But now the jam's even more of a possibility.
They may have to go on this. Just get by. And away shot rock goes. Nicely done.
That center line path really holding nice for the sweepers.
It's been a battle this end to see who can hit and roll underneath these guards. Need to get buried pretty well to get fully protected. Wes is considering whether or not to simply roll away.
Perhaps changing strategy here, trying to invite the force rather than play for the steal. Take the hammer in the last end.
And this one rolls underneath and
over the top and out.
Yeah, just exchanged. Didn't really change much. So there's those two stones and the 12-foot still there. Went over the top there. Thought for a minute they might jam on their own blue. So once again, trying to get this buried. They're going to have to over-bury this to get it protected. If they're just behind the yellow corner, the high corner, it's just not buried enough. That corner's just not in play. It's too high. They really need to kind of stick this almost under the blue. Sweepers like to wait. Waiting for the stone to take its break. And just too heavy, I think. This one's going to go back 4. It does get fully buried this time.
But we've seen fully buried rocks get taken out, so it should be an easy hit or even just lie two here for Manatic.
Okay, we're going to have our first live look in sheet 2 house for the Skips Rock for Petersham.
There's an opportunity for a double here for 2.
And we are on sheet 2 now.
Utica 7 Skip Scott Lent just threw his draw to the top of the button, the rock that you see on the center line. The rock biting 4-foot was there previously.
We won't miss the Skip Rock on the feature. Skips Rocks. Okay, here we go. Sheet 2. Stone is underway for Petersham.
Looking to make a double.
No action from the sweepers. Going to make contact on the 4-foot. Will get enough action on the stone that is shot rock and not quite enough. That's a steal to 1 for Utica 7, and they now take an 8-5 lead after 7 innings. So just a matter of running Petersham out of rocks now on sheet number 2.
Man, the Nutmeg Love in the chat room, they just stole 2 to tie that game up. Mounting the charge, trying to.
Wow, how did that get by the
Yeah.
guard? A fantastic
Wow.
scrub by Ron Knight.
Boy, he's good brushers. Love that technique.
One more time, Matt. That was
But as we've seen, that stone is not buried enough. And from the looks of the ice, it looks like Bill Sewell is looking not to remove that blue stone, but simply to freeze to it.
all right. Let it come back.
I have noticed a change on league nights where I'm hearing more individual names being called than just sweeping up.
It considerably complicates the game, especially on draws.
Same again, Dave.
Last skip rock for Utica. Looking to freeze a stone here. Got the sweepers on it right away.
Plenty of room by the guard. Can they carry it all the way down to shot rock? 3 sweepers working hard.
It's over curled,
Okay, you're there.
and it's not shot.
It
It'll
is
be
not
second
shot
rock.
rock.
Just over curled.
Good throw.
But Manatic can't afford to play anything onto their own stone. They can't move that more than an inch, Raj.
Throw through, right?
Not even that. So this is a open draw, essentially. For 2, they'll need full.
They've got a
And I do
2-foot
mean
margin of error.
Full 4 foot here.
Yes.
Light's okay as long as it's over. Yeah, let it come then. T. Let it go.
I didn't say that.
8th end action on sheet number 1. Sheet number 2. Still 7th end action on 4 and 6. And we're getting ready to throw the hammer here in the 7th end on sheet number 3.
Well, after a dearth of deuces, this could be our second deuce of the game. Skip West Sukarab will need full 4 foot here to score his 2. Cannot afford to come to his own stone with any excess weight.
Last rock.
Got that all the way out to the broom. Sweepers thinks it needs help. Got to be careful. No bounce allowed at all here.
You know what, Dave? I think we even have one of those.
Crossing the center line now and full into the 4 foot. And just a beautiful, beautiful
Wow.
draw.
Well, let's see.
They were kicking it, so that didn't move his stone enough. It just tapped his stone.
2.
Looked like a deuce for Manatic to take control. Up 2. Coming home last in, went out.
Where do you think West is going to put this rock, Roger?
I go top 4.
That's been the strategy all game long. He wants it through.
I think it's premature to throw through if you're only up 2.
Sorry, not normal. Just control. Stick it out.
Meanwhile, on sheet number 2, we're into seconds rocks now, so the hitting will begin.
Whoa! Hooray!
So Utica will have to get 2 corner guards up this end.
Bill saying he doesn't want this rock in. I don't think there's any chance of that.
Just want to get it off the center line. Corner guard thrown.
Going through again.
Yeah, another throw through.
What's it? Look away from the microphone. Why's that?
Why not try and throw the tick here, Raj? If you're committed to throwing through, then why not attempt the tick?
Especially with a high guard like this that's close to the center line.
Yeah, a lot of room to push that rock.
If you throw the tick, though, you do have to practice it. It's something that should probably be in every team's skill set.
Free guard number 2 coming up here for Utica.
I'd like to get these a little off the 4-foot line because the corner guard that was thrown first is actually choking off the out-turn draw.
Just not as much curl from the center line out as we've seen coming back to the middle.
But mission accomplished. 2 corner guards thrown. Manitic will now attempt to double peel. They've got them separated.
I'm worried he's always got 2 shots, so I'm afraid to throw a guard.
Good angle for the double peel here. 1 high, 1 low.
Good solid weight.
Looks pretty close. And well done.
Got to raise your broom to that one, Roger.
Yeah, that's why those 2 corners have to be exactly even. That makes, when you get the angle like that, it makes that double a little easier to make. Well executed shot.
Now the pressure's on for Gary White. A little indecision from Bill Sewell. First indication was for a center line guard, now playing back out to the wing.
Essentially have to start over here with the corner guard. Gary threw this one a little heavy.
Yeah. Bill gave him about a foot less ice than he had for MJ.
This one's going to sail into the rings. Maybe not. It's checking up. Doesn't much matter. The free guard zone is expired anyway, so Manitic will be in peel mode.
Ron Knight with what we expect to be his final shot of the game. There's the hit, there's the roll off. 4 out of 4 again, Raj.
Try another spot on the ice. Bill Sewell will go the other way for the corner guard. Make Manitic peel from a different spot.
Another tie game, sheet number 6, Philadelphia, after being down 5-3 early on, has now come back to force a 7-7 tie as they start their 8th end. Yeah, a steal of 2 in the 7th end to force the tie. And on sheet number 4, Ardsley jumps out to a 4-point lead. As they're forced to 1 in the 7th end, they now lead 7-3. Nice corner guard from Gary, but it won't stick around long.
So Utica's hoping for a nose hit or a peel that doesn't quite roll out, so they'll have something to come around. They'll probably persist with the corner guards for a little bit longer.
Third's first, you can still afford to throw one more corner guard, but after that point in time, play's got to come into the rings.
And they can use, Utica can use this as a guard. Come around back 12. Just pretend somebody moved the rings up 2 feet. Come around that rock on the top 12, back 8, back 12, get it buried. Force Manatic into a freeze or a run, and hope you can wind up with a house split. First job is to get this around the guard. Front end's having to go for weight here. Well, not a terrible result, but that's frozen on the top, but this should be an easy double.
We're also into Skips Rocks on sheet number 2, where Petersham lies 1 buried back of the button. Utica lying 2nd and 3rd. Here's the takeout attempt on sheet number 3. This one curling quite a bit. Good enough for the kill. Leaves 2 blue counters on the paint. One more attempt at a draw under cover here.
Yeah, I think he's still trying to get behind those 2 blues.
We have another final real quickly. Congrats to Navy taking the E event over on sheet 1. Steve Bellingham, Denise Bellingham, David Johansson, and Ruth Buckland. Congrats to them.
Scott Lent stepping into the hack on sheet number 2 for his first skip stone. Takeout here will seal the victory for them as they're up 3. 2 rocks on the rings for Petersham, 1 rock remaining. This one just doesn't want to hide. Scott Lentz executes the run back on sheet number 2, runs Petersham out of rocks, and they'll take the 7-5 victory. Excuse me, 8-5 victory. That's what, our C event or B event?
That's Scott Lent, Marina Taverne, Tim Conboy, and Carrie Kassoff. Congrats to them.
The hit by Wes Sukarab here means that the best Utica can hope for is a tie.
Probably his best bet here is just to hit and roll out. I think if you nose hit this, Utica will freeze to it. And that rolls another one to the corner. Yep, freeze right on top of it.
Skips rocks now on sheet number 4, still playing thirds rocks on sheet number 6 as all our championship draws come to the conclusion of their games. Awful lot of indecision from Bill Sewell here. He seemed like he was pretty confident in the initial call and just seems to be considering a lot of options that really don't give him any better result.
I think the only way you can set up a deuce here is to freeze on that rock on the 8-foot. Get in that pocket. That's going to force Manitic to then split the house and try to sit 1 and 2. You're hoping for a miss, of course.
Bill still likes that draw under cover. But unless that draw is executed perfectly, there's a lot more margin for error on the freeze. Even if you get a small bounce off of it, you got quite a pocket over there.
Yeah, you just need to be second rock in a position where you can run that stone into shot. The trick is trying to get this buried around the rock that's on the 8-foot and still be shot. I mean, you have to be shot if you play the come around.
And to be buried and be shot, there's not much more than a rock's worth of space on the ice that accomplishes that.
Right, it leaves you about 3 feet to curl behind. So you probably get buried maybe half a stone. A lot of weight. Didn't get behind and didn't freeze. Bit of a tweener. That's going to leave Manitic with a relatively straightforward hit to run Utica out of rocks.
Bonspiel's about drinking at 9 and calling at 8 o'clock in the morning. You gotta be able to do both. I know. Well, it would have been work.
Almost any contact seals the deal here.
Yep, just got to make the yellow go away.
Handshakes on sheet number 4 as Ardsley takes the victory. That's Dave Cragnolan on sheet number 6 you hear yelling furiously.
And that's the game. Manitic pulls out a victory.
A well-fought defensive contest.
No deuces until the 6th end.
So there's your 2016 Cobb Bonspiel A event champions.
So congratulations
Team Manitic.
to Team Manitic. Congratulations to Skip West Sukharov, third Karen Bradley, second Ron Knight, and lead Tessie Jokinen.
That's their picture. Those are the names Roger just read from left to right there. And a good round of applause in the warm room for our champions. And let's not forget our runners-up, a fine Bonspiel for Utica 1, Bill Sewell, Michelle McEnroe, Gary White, and MJ Walsh. We'll stay with until sheet 6 wraps up. Sheet 4 is complete. Let's recap that, Roger and John.
So sheet 5, Utica 5 with a victory. over Rochester.
And on sheet 4, Ardsley claims the victory over Utica 2. We're into Skips Rocks on sheet number 6, where it's a tie game after 7 ends. Philadelphia mounted a great comeback, stealing 2 in the 7th end to tie the game up 7-all after 7.
And
they lie 2 at the back of the 4-foot, now drawing a 3rd rock into the 4-foot, just biting the button at the back.
It's only 1 stone remaining, so won't have time to go swivel the camera. So it's radio curling to end the day here.
So there is enough room to draw it. I don't know if they can draw into the pocket. There is a center line guard that's going to influence play. They're looking at perhaps taking the soft hit to flop to the button, but it looks like the draw is also available into that pocket on the other side of the sheet, Roger.
Yeah, I think I would be drawing all day long. I think draw with backing. They must know the path to the button on that side, and that's really all they need to throw. They can afford to rub off a stone on the side of the 4-foot into the button area.
And that might be the thinking there, that there's a little more margin for error on weight there with the soft hit throw.
Again, just 1 stone remaining.
Looks like they're taking ice for lightweight tap.
For Team Uno.
So as you look at it from behind the glass, Team Philadelphia, 3 rocks behind the tee line, 1 just behind the tee line, right-hand side of the button, with a rock immediately behind it, and then 1 to the 7 o'clock position behind that, just behind the button, just to the side of the tee line. Team Uno with a rock just off of the 4-foot on the left-hand side at about the 9 o'clock position. That rock won't come into play.
Here we go. Last stone's underway.
No opportunity for a triple here to take all 3 blue stones off. It's got to be a hit and a soft roll back to the center of the button. Sweeper's working really hard. I think this rock still needs to move a little more to the center. Hard to tell from our angle. We're off to the side here. Into the house now, into the 4-foot. It's going to make contact. Will they get the roll they need?
Yeah,
and they do.
does. Team Uno. Nice draw. Who's Team Uno? Run them down.
Team Uno, skipped by Dave Cragnolan, throwing 3rd rocks. I got to find him here. Heidi Roush throwing 4th rocks, Barb Felice playing 2nd, and Kevin Carter playing lead.
So that's going to conclude our coverage from the Cobb Bonspiel. John, thanks so much for joining us, and Roger, thanks so much. You guys want to sign off or say goodbye?
Game.
Doug, we appreciate your efforts as always. It's always a great pleasure to come out and do the broadcast. Roger, enjoy working with you, and look forward to our, probably this is our last broadcast of the year.
Unless we have some tiebreakers in the medal for the men's. But next year we should be chock full with the Dykes coming next year.
That's true. So from everybody here at the Utica Curling Club,
I'll do it.
we really, the one thing that I would say, Doug, is if you enjoy watching the game online, plan to make a trip out to Utica Curling Club and join us here on the ice. We've got lots of opportunities in the fall for you to come down and give the game a try yourself, and memberships are really quite affordable when you break down the number of opportunities that you have to curl for your membership. So we look forward to seeing you here as a guest.
So for John Jacon, Roger Rowlett, my name is Doug Smith. We will see you next time on the Utica Curling Club channel. Have a good afternoon.